powerfully on June 2, 2025, casting thick clouds of ash and smoke high into the Sicilian sky, startling early morning hikers and sending a dramatic warning from one of the world's most active volcanoes. The eruption began in the pre-dawn hours with deep rumbles felt across the surrounding villages, followed by fiery explosions bursting from the southeast crater, painting the sky in glowing shades of red, orange, and gray.
Che roba?
Residents of Catania and nearby towns watched in awe as volcanic tremors shook windows and the unmistakable scent of sulfur drifted through the air. As the morning progressed, lava fountains reached remarkable heights, and a dense plume of ash surged skyward, eventually climbing to more than 6 kilometers above sea level. The ground near the summit cracked and hissed as hot gases escaped under intense pressure. Swift pyroclastic flow, a racing mass of superheated ash and gas, spilled down the crater's northern flank, vanishing into the Valley del Leon, a deep natural basin carved by centuries of eruptions. Though no communities lie directly in its path, the sudden appearance of the flow caused concern among nearby observers. Many of whom had to be escorted away for safety. Tourists visiting the volcano's slopes were quickly evacuated. Some, who had reached higher observation points overnight, recorded trembling ground and distant thuds moments before the eruption.
No erupt. What would the magnitude be? But answering such questions hasn't been easy. Volcanoes, after all, are unpredictable. Gray, which is home to hundreds of thousands of people. At first glance, it's hard to spot the volcano, unless you have a trained eye. Gray was a flat plain. Deep beneath was a huge reservoir of bubbling magma. Then the magma started moving upwards, smashing through weaknesses in the rock and erupting powerfully.
visibility dropped in seconds, engulfed by a storm of ash. Locals, long familiar with Etna's moods, remained cautious but calm, while emergency teams maintained restricted access to the mountain's summit, a precaution enforced days earlier due to increasing seismic signals. Despite the ash plume disrupting air quality in the upper atmosphere, nearby airports remained operational, although flight paths were adjusted as a precaution. Visibility across the region fluctuated throughout the day as winds carried fine volcanic dust. Over surrounding towns and the Ionian coast. Schools and outdoor events were temporarily suspended, and citizens were advised to wear masks or stay indoors due to the fine ash particles descending over rooftops, vehicles, and gardens. The eruption comes just weeks after a quieter phase in May, part of a broader pattern of unrest that has defined Etna's character for centuries. Its volcanic system is constantly shifting, with magma chambers deep below the surface recharging unpredictably.
Over millions of years, volcanic eruptions underwater caused each of the 5 Hawaiian islands to be created. First, the volcanic eruption started over an area where molten magma rises from underground. This is called a hotspot. Over time, they rise above water to become an island. Into another smaller crack near the surface. This process repeated several times, transporting the magma eastwards through different vents. Current eruption, called the Pu'u'o'o, originates from a vent away from the original crater. This eruption gives new life to the Hawaiian Islands. Lava that flows out of the vent reaches the ocean and solidifies. This eventually becomes fertile Earth. The North American and Eurasian plates pull apart, creating a gap and several small openings called fissures. These allow magma to rise up. When the magma comes into contact with water, it cools. Over millions of years, this solidified material begins rising above the sea, becoming a landmass habitable to man.
The volcano erupted at an altitude of 5,000 feet, rising to 8,500 feet above the vent at the summit of the crater.
monitoring the mountain observed elevated tremor activity and gas emissions over recent days, all signs that magma was moving toward the surface once more. Rapidly, as is often the case with Etna, whose past eruptions have lasted from hours to several weeks. No injuries or structural damage have been reported at this stage, and local authorities continue to coordinate with civil protection teams to ensure public safety. A mix of fear, reverence, and the understanding that life near a living mountain requires constant respect for its unpredictable rhythms.
Small plastic fragments, lapilli, were reported to have fallen in the Piano Vettere area, located on the upper southwest slope of the volcano. Emissions of volcanic material are still largely confined to the summit area. At 3:01 Coordinated Universal Time. The reactivation of the volcano came just 2 months after its last eruption. These eruptions are hundreds of times more powerful than any eruption in recorded human history. They blanket continents in ash, send shockwaves around the globe, and inject so much sulfur and ash into the atmosphere that they can cool the planet. Increases pressure. One study identified that the volcano may be approaching a critical degassing pressure point at which the rock above the magma could fracture, potentially leading to an eruption. As tourists were seen running to escape the blast, dramatic footage posted on social media showed thick clouds of ash covering the area as visitors fled the mountainside in panic. Eruption triggered the aviation color code to be raised to red at 3:32 Universal Time coordinated. However, the alert has since been changed to orange at 6:39 Universal Time coordinated. A strombolian eruption is a type of volcanic eruption with relatively mild blasts. The ash cloud caused a red alert for aviation. Videos captured by residents and tourists began circulating on social media showing the sky completely covered in dense black clouds and volcanic lightning, while streams of lava descended the slopes of Etna.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about the latest developments.